20 minutes, I am going to discuss what are the antibiotics of the choice to treat beta-lactam resistant bacterial infections. First of all, what is the mechanism of resistance? The antibiotics or the beta-lactam antibiotics, few beta-lactam antibiotics will induce AMP-C gene in the bacteria. Activation of AMP-C gene, or it will induce AMP-C and increase the production of beta-lactamases, AMP-C beta-lactamases. So because of all of these three mechanisms, one is induction of AMP-C, second activation of AMP-C gene, and third one is increased production of AMP-C beta-lactamases. So because of all these three mechanisms which have been triggered by the antibiotics will causes lysis of the antibiotics and failure of treatment. So we need to choose an antibiotic which does not induce or activate the AMP-C gene, and otherwise we need to choose antibiotic such that that antibiotic will withstand the hydrolyzing property of beta-lactamase enzyme. So what are the potent AMP-C inducers that we have known? The most potent AMP-C inducers are aminopenicillins, amoxicillin and ampicillin, and cephalosporins, cefamycin. These are the beta-lactam antibiotics which can induce AMP-C, and if the bacteria is beta-lactamase producing bacteria, all these antibiotics will not work against such infections. Imipenem is a potent inducer, but it is resistant to hydrolysis. So we can choose imipenem in case of the mild infection if sensitivity is appreciated or demonstrated. For the weak inducers, ceftriaxone, ceftazidime, piperacillin. But all of these antibiotics, ceftriaxone, ceftazidime, piperacillin antibiotics are susceptible to hydrolysis, even with tazobactam. Ceftriaxone, tazobactam, or piperacillin, tazobactam. Even with the combination of the tazobactam, all these antibiotics are susceptible to hydrolysis to beta-lactamase enzymes. So all these antibiotics are not preferred when infection is caused by the bacteria which are at high risk of AMP-C induction. And other antibiotics, cefepime is weak inducer and it can withstand the hydrolysis, so it can be preferred. Non-beta-lactam antibiotics which doesn't induce AMP-C gene or doesn't cause or which can withstand hydrolysis are fluoroquinolones, aminoglycosides, trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole, and tetracyclines or other non-beta-lactam antibiotics. All these antibiotics will not induce AMP-C, and also they are not substrate for AMP-C hydrolysis. So what are the factors to consider before choosing empirical treatment? Like any other infection, we need to see what were the recent cultures and what was the culture sensitivity report, what was the organism has been isolated, and susceptibility pattern in last 6 months. Any history of antibiotic exposure in last 1 month, local susceptibility pattern for the most likely pathogens. When to start oral step down therapy. When susceptibility to an appropriate oral agent is demonstrated and patient should be hemodynamically stable, reasonable source control has been achieved, and there are no issues with intestinal absorption, no or minimal issues with intestinal absorption. In such scenario, we can start oral step down therapy. What are the bacteria which are at high risk of AMP-C induction? Enterobacter cloacae, Klebsiella aerugines, Citrobacter fruidei. So if these are the organisms that we suspect to cause the present infection, better to avoid aminopenicillins and cephalosporins except cefepime, and even avoid piperacillin tazobactam combination, because even tazobactam cannot withstand the hydrolysis by AMP-C. So these are the 3 gram-negative bacteria which are at high risk of clinically significant AMP-C production. Enterobacter cloacae, Klebsiella aerogenes, Citrobacter frindae. So if you suspect any infections because of these three bacteria, avoid all those antibiotics which can induce AMP-C. Low risk bugs, Serratia marcescens, Morganella morgagni, Providentia species. So as we discussed, there is no role of Tazobactam to treat beta-lactamase producing bacteria. So what are the other options? Ceftazidime avibactam, Imipenem cilastatins, Relibactam, Meropenem vivaibactam. But the carbapenem resistance is rapidly increasing. We need to reserve all these three combination of antibiotics to treat carbapenemase producing bacteria. Other antibiotics like ceftriaxone, tazobactam, cefiderocol, they require further studies to prove their efficacy. Other non-beta-lactam antibiotics like nitrofurantoin, trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole, we can use them for uncomplicated cystitis. Even single dose of IV amic acid or IV aminoglycosides, we can use uncomplicated AMP-CE cystitis. Avoid oral fosfomycin, nitrofurantoin, doxycycline, amoxicillin clavulanate as step-down therapy. Reserve oral fosfomycin exclusively for E. coli, uncomplicated E. coli cystitis, because phos-A-Z, which has been intrinsic for many other gram-negative bacteria, can neutralize or can hydrolyze the fosfomycin and high chances of treatment failures. What are the options for carbapenem resistant Acinetobacter baumannii infections? Carbapenem is producing Acinetobacter baumannii means it will resistant to all carbapenems, sulbactams, aminoglycosides and fluoroquinolones. Acinetobacter baumannii resistant to carbapenems, all beta-lactam antibiotics, and resistant to sulbactam, intrinsically resistant to aminoglycosides and fluoroquinolones. So what are the treatment options to treat carbapenem resistant Acinetobacter? Ampicillin sulbactam is in case of mild infection, we can use ampicillin sulbactam. Definitely there is no role of fosfomycin and rifampicin. In case of moderate and severe infections, we have to prefer combination therapy along with polymyxins. It can be colistin or polymyxin. We have to combine these polymyxins with either minocycline or diseasecycline or ampicillin sulbactam or meropenem. But if it is urinary tract infection, avoid polymyxin B, prefer colistin, because polymyxin B doesn't have renal excretion. Ampicillin sulbactam, even though susceptibility has not been demonstrated, you can combine with colistin or polymyxin. Why we need to prefer combination therapy over monotherapy in case of polymyxins? Because the pharmacokinetics is not uniform. There will be variable serum concentrations and narrow therapeutic window, and both the polymyxins will not achieve enough concentration in pulmonary epithelium as per evidence clinical failure with monotherapy. So that's it. Next week or within few days we'll discuss about carbapenem resistant bacterial infections. Thank you.